Warning. The following podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Remember, the first rule of gambling responsibly is to bet with your head and not over it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cousin Vito's Casino Podcast proudly presents your guide to enjoying gambling. And now, direct from the bar, your cousin and mine, Cousin Vito!
Welcome everybody to Cousin Vito's Casino Podcast, your guide to enjoying gambling. I'm your host, Cousin Vito, and together we're going to make luck happen at the casino. Thank you for checking out another 2021 episode. And drum roll, please. I'd like to welcome back my buddy, my pal, my cousin, Cousin Mikey.
Hey, Vito. Good to be back with you. How's everything been?
It's been good, Mike. It's been a couple years here since we had you in Make Luck Happen studio. I mean, you've been in the studio. You haven't recorded, but it's nice to have you back live on the show.
Yeah, excited to be back and have all the listeners kind of catch up with what I've been doing.
It has been a wild couple of years. And, Mike, you're here specifically because I recently did an episode creating a casino enthusiast. We actually released 2 different interviews for it. And we went on the trip. Me and Matty 5K. He loves running the 5Ks. He doesn't like the casino that much. So we're trying to create a casino enthusiast. I wined him. I dined him, Mike. I brought him to the tables. But you showed up at the tail end of the trip there, the final night, probably around 7 p.m. And I had to have you on the show because, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you witnessed my greatest craps roll in the history of my craps career.
Yeah, it was actually one of the most unique craps rolls I've ever witnessed in my life as well. So it was a great run.
It really is. I'm happy we get to document it on the podcast because I don't think I'd ever forget it. It's one of those, we've had those games in our life, Mike, where you look back and, you know, how many, we must have had hundreds of times we were at the table together, but there's some you look back and you never forget, like that one years and years ago where we had the guy from Kennebunkport, Maine, Chicago, and Leakey. Remember those two?
Oh, yeah, Leaky. Yeah.
There's that big one at the D in Vegas, at Vegas Vacation, where we got off the table too early like a bunch of shams.
Oh, yeah, that was incredible.
There was that one. The one at Bally's with You Can Bet on That, where you were cleaning up on the come bets, I think.
Yeah, I had like crazy, like 4 or 5 come bets going at once.
There's so many that you could think of that stand. Oh, there was the one with Uncle Ron that time at Fargo, too. Remember that one?
Oh, yeah, that was my single highest total amount.
Yes, Mikey's biggest day. You were down to like $100 after the poker, and suddenly you were there till sunrise almost with on a $100 bankroll. You made it back.
For the record, it was $75.
Jeez.
and I had to play a $10 craps table, so that was a heck of a run.
And you survived it. So
I walked with 1,000, so that was.
It really. I want to thank you for coming over. We're recording this early on a Sunday morning here. We got back from the trip yesterday, so Mike. What we're going to do is we're going to eventually get into our craps. Our basically it's going to be your trip report. Because I'm going to have I got a big old trip report with Matt coming up. I still have to record this, so I haven't recorded it with him yet. But what we'll do is we're going to do a segue here. We'll jump into my interview with Matt, and then I think we come back, Mike, and we do a Cousin Mikey trip report. He was there. You were there for part of the Casino Enthusiast trip, and maybe we could get your hunches on whether or not you thought Matt was enjoying himself after the interview.
Yeah, so... Well, you know, as usual, I live a life where I'm always getting pulled in a million directions. So I actually had to work the following weekend, which I don't usually. And
the one Friday a year. So the timing worked out perfect, Mike. Mikey's lovely wife was away, and he said, "Hey, let's go do something this weekend. Maybe we go a guy's trip to the casino. It'll be a good time." We get the room, and sure enough, Mike, for the one time a year, they changed his inventory at work. He had to go work on Saturday morning. So he came up Friday night. He had to get up early. But, Mike, you know what we'll do? I'm going to jump into the interview with Matt, and we'll come back. And I got my trip report little stinger here. We'll go into the old school trip report stinger. How's that sound?
All right, sounds good.
All right, well, then, without further ado, I'd like to welcome on our pal Matt, the non-casino enthusiast. All right. right. I am very, very excited to welcome back my pal Matt, the non-casino enthusiast, back to Make Luck Happen Studios. Matty, how you doing on this beautiful Friday afternoon?
It's a very beautiful day today and doing well. How about you?
I'm doing okay. I mean, 2 weeks ago we had our trip. We wanted to let this simmer, like a real fine wine. We wanted this trip report to age well. And Matt, I know you don't listen to the show all the time. You listen to it every once in a while. We listened to our episode on the way to the casino.
Yep.
Good thing I released 2 of them.
Yeah.
Right? That worked out okay. Now
Covered
you're
a lot of ground.
big movie star now. But we're going to do a trip report, Matt. So what we're going to do is we're going to go chronologically through our trip. We're going to start out when we flew up there into the valet, which was beautiful. I'm not going to get into it just yet. And we're going to go through day 1, day 2. And I've been biting my nails. You see my nails here? They're all bitten up. I've been worried if I created Casino Enthusiast. I'm really not too sure. It was, in my opinion, the trip went well, but there was a little bit left to be desired. But we'll see how you enjoyed it because it's through a different lens. It's through the Matt lens. And that's what I made the trip for, was the Matt lens.
Let's review it.
Oh, boy. All right. So here we go. You sound like you're excited. All right. So first thing, me and Matty rolled up to the casino. I'll go through the check-in process. We rolled up. We had the valet. Boom. We swooped in, pulled our bags over the shoulder. Nice to see you, Mr. Vito. Okay. Give him the cash.
Pretty badass, actually.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
we pulled right
cool.
up there. He
right
liked
up
us.
there.
I flipped him, whatever, a $5 bill. I always overtip at the valet like I'm a big shot at the beginning. So it's when I got the money at least. So then we went in. No line at check-in. This is Thursday night, probably like 6 p.m. maybe.
Something
We went
like
there
that,
7 p.m. maybe. So no check-in at all. We went right up to our rooms. Beautiful experience to me. Matt, how did you enjoy the whole valet check-in process? Because I know if you go casually, you're probably parking in the parking garage, busting your hump trying to get in the door.
So you're asking me how I liked walking to the desk.
How did you like the valet experience to the desk? Did you feel like this, this is pretty exciting?
No, look, I'm not going to lie. I felt like I was rolling in with royalty.
Okay, I'll take
this
that.
Guy
All
has
right.
the Cousin Vito podcast hat on, and they looked like they knew who you were.
It seemed like
I don't know
they
if
did. I
but
felt
they
like the
looked
guy
it.
said my name at the valet. I said,
Yeah.
"Hey, Mr. Vito," but maybe I imagined that. So we got up to the room, and when we talked about it last week, we said, a good casino trip is obviously you're excited. You want to get to the floor. You want to play. You want to do this. You want to do that. But part of having a great casino trip is taking a deep breath, taking it all in. So we went up to our room, and we had a couple cocktails in the room. Matt, how did you like our little pregame we did? We went to the room, we chatted, we even threw the dice a little, maybe.
We did. It was a good time. We drank a lot of Maker's Mark. That was that got the night going. I think we were pretty amped up, so
We were amped. We were excited.
We're excited. We're talking about the trip, talking about the 2 podcasts we listened to on the way up there.
the
and,
godfather of all podcast interviews,
yeah.
released.
So drinks were flowing.
And Matt did a great job shooting dice on the bed, actually. I brought some dice up there. Matt had a couple of hot rolls right on the bed in front of us, but we'll see if they materialized in anything. So we headed down to the floor. We had a nice pregame, had some Maker's Mark, had some nice conversation. What do you want to do? Hopes and dreams, but-de-da-de-da. And then we went down to the floor. We took a walk. Now, Matt, this was probably your first, you've done it before, but this was your first real casino stroll, I would say.
It was the first. I've walked in a casino before, but never strolled.
Never strolled like this.
Right.
Now, we took and I like this, especially I know the gaming floor. I could close my eyes, make a map of the Pequot floor, but I wanted to give you also a lay of the land where we're at. Here are the elevators.
Right.
Let's check out the different craps areas. Let's check out the slot machine areas. And then we went into the lounge. We said, it's screw it. We got this lounge access. Let's go, grab a snack, grab a cocktail, and let's have a good time.
Yep. We went to the slot machines first, though, didn't we?
Yes, you're right. Thank God Matt has
we,
notes on his phone. all my memories blur together, but we did.
had to take notes because
Yes.
we drank a lot of Maker's Mark
So-
before we went down to the floor.
Were you impressed with the fact that I took us to the slot machine right next to the beverage door, and we had this great waitress. She was coming in. She had some vodka and crayons. We overtipped her. She was feeding us vodka and crayons like they were going out of style there.
I don't think I've gotten served drinks faster than sitting at a slot machine in my life.
Yes, no, we probably had like 2 or 3 cocktails within like 5 minutes. Once the lady knew who we were, every time she came back, she's like, "Here you go. You want another? You want another?"
Well, when you first walked up to there, you're like, "No, we got to go. Don't play slots here. Let's go to by the door." I was like, "By the door? What the hell are you talking about?" So we follow the cocktail waitress. Like, all right, she's gonna be going in and out of there, getting drinks, and coming on the way back. And we'll get her on the way out. We'll tip her good. And I was like, all right, whatever. So gave her a few bucks, and there was definitely vodka in those vodka cranberries. So
Yes, it made her excited to come serve us.
Exactly.
Because, in the casino floor, Matt, not everyone's as classic as me and you. She's coming out of the drink door. She's getting maybe $1 if she's lucky from people. Some people are running after her. Can I have a water? Give me this. Where, what are we? We were writing her way back to her little station she has to go to. She's got extra stuff in her tray. Right. And for her, it's just, we're like ATMs. All right, you give us the vodka and crayons, and we'll give you, I think off the rip, I tipped her a Finsky there, little $5 piece for the 2 drinks. And then Lincolns. I believe when she came back with our next round, we tipped her another few bucks.
Yeah.
We definitely over-tipped. I remember when we left, I was like, we need to stay for a couple more cocktails. But
we over-tip, but whatever.
So no luck on our initial slot run, which may or may not become a theme of the show here. And then we headed to the, I'm gonna do in the quotations in my hand here, High Rollers Lounge, which, it's in the ballroom now. We'll see what happens now that COVID's over. Actually, during our trip, the mask mandate was dropped during part of our trip, so that'll be an exciting thing. But we went to the lounge. Matt, you ate shrimp cocktail like a king, buddy. I got to say, they had shrimp cocktail in there. Matt, you were like Moby Dick. You had shrimp tails hanging out of your mouth. They had the spicy horseradish.
I wasn't expecting the level of shrimp that they were having at, like, I would say, upscale buffet, and walking into there, they gave you that atomic sauce or whatever it was called.
Yeah, the atomic cocktail.
The atomic cocktail. And once we sat down and ate that woke me right up.
Yes, that was the atomic cocktail. Cleared out the sinuses for sure. And I don't know if they got stock in Bubblegum Shrimp Company or something, but they had so much shrimp were hanging out of everyone's pockets in there. So many shrimp we got, and we had a great waitress in there, and we did have some top shelf cocktails, Matt.
We did, but if it wasn't for our waitress, you would have gotten bottom shelf.
Oh, I forgot about this part of the trip, actually.
Good old, what was her name? Lisa.
Lisa, yes. She was great. Lisa was a great waitress, and so we're going to get into this, huh? So, yeah, I was in a vodka cran mode now. We had the vodka crayons from our other waitress. So I said, you know what? Let's keep the crayons flowing. The cranberry's good for the kidneys here. We want to have a nice trip, a nice healthy trip, so let's add some crayon to that vodka. So, of course, I did make a mistake here, man. If you want to, razz me here, you can tell the story.
So, first off, he leads with, what top shelf liquor do you have?
Good question. Fair question.
What top shelf liquor? Yeah, it was liquor.
Yeah.
And so she said, oh, we've got Bombay. I wanted some gin and tonics. You wanted to stick with vodka. She was like, oh, we got Bombay and, I don't know, it's probably like Tanqueray or something like that.
I think it might have been Tanqueray.
So I was like, oh, yeah, Bombay Sapphire. Let's do that with the gin. And you were like, oh, what do you got for vodka? And she's like, well, we got Grey Goose, Kettle One, and Tito's. And you go, I'll take the Tito's. And I looked at him, I was like, this is the dude that just asked for top shelf liquor. They have free Grey Goose. And this woman looks at him like, what the hell is the matter with this guy?
Normally, when I go to a regular bar, I'll settle for a Tito's and club soda.
Tito's is great. I love Tito's.
It was just a rote memory type of thing. It just, when she said, I was like, I'll take a Tito's and crayon. So, but everyone got a good laugh at Mr. Bottom Shelf here. I did end up with a Grey Goose and cranberry. I would like to make it known.
He did. He made a wise decision.
I got the Grey Goose and cranberry. So we were wining, dining, shrimp tails were flying. And then we ended up, so this is where we start doing the mix here. Then I said, all right, we got to get a scotch in here, right? So I think we might have got a Glenlivet, it might have been. It was either a Glenlivet or a Macallan.
It was a Macallan.
Was it the Macallan 12?
Macallan, yeah.
It might have been the Macallan 12. Yeah. So we got the Macallan.
You can razz me for this.
I'm going to razz him for so we're getting and all the beverages are free. So Matt's like, well, what kind of you gonna get a Coca-Cola? Can I get a he's getting sodas over here. Like I took a kid to the movie theater. He's stocking up on soda. He gets a Pepsi. So all of a sudden this Pepsi comes over. He's like, all right, sipping his Pepsi. All of a sudden he pours the Macallan into the Pepsi. I almost threw up in my mouth, and I'm like, I don't want to criticize you, Matt, because I was sipping on my Macallan. I got my rocks glass. I was having a good time there, and Matt, what the hell was going on there with the Pepsi and the Macallan?
Dude, by that point, we were like 8 drinks deep, and I just saw it, totally forgot we ordered scotch, and thought it was whiskey.
You were thinking it was going to be like a Jack and Pepsi here, Jack and
Coke or something, or maybe at EW if you're ordering it. But
yeah.
So I just poured some in there, and as I'm drinking it, I think you noticed, you're like, dude, you're making these weird faces.
Yeah, you looked like it was more of a torture device.
I was just like, this is probably the worst drink I've ever had. And you're like, yeah, I know, we're drinking scotch. I was like, oh, shit, that's right.
And you poured the entire Macallan into your Pepsi,
Yeah, I
which
still
is very
drink it.
depressing for me. You still did drink it. And actually, I did learn something. I asked about their glass policy because I wanted to, we had in the lounge, I think my Macallan was in a glass, an actual glass. And it turns out that in the 90s, our sassy waitress let me know that 20 years ago, they started allowing the glass on the floor.
You go dead serious, looked her in the eye and said, "What's your glass policy?"
And she was not amused by that and let me know that 20 years
well,
ago.
Sir, our glass policy ended in the 90s.
So I don't know why I was going into like a pool or something or onto the beach, but I was on the boardwalk, but I asked the glass policy. She got a good laugh out of it. So basically right now we had a good time. We did a little bit of gambling.
A lot of laughs early on.
A lot of laughs
early on.
We ate for free in the lounge, and then we hit the floor mat, and I don't know if you have any notes there, but did anything really eventful happen for us gambling wise? This is really this is what broke my heart on the trip.
Yeah.
Was the gambling piece.
Gambling wise, not so much. It felt like every time that it's like the casino knew I was coming.
Yeah,
They were just like, we know he's not going to come a lot to the casino. So
Murder him.
So let's take as much money from him as we possibly can.
Yeah, I've been thinking of nicknames. I'm thinking maybe you had a good one, Matty Ice, because you're ice cold. But I kind of like Matty Maloik. You're the Matty the Maloik.
Okay.
Because that was like, I'm telling you. Now you guys know I go to the casino many different times, many different people, and all I wanted to do was show Matt a fun time. And I'm not a slot enthusiast where I'm going to say let's throw hundreds of dollars and pull the handle here. But we couldn't. We barely got a line it. No bonus rounds, no nothing. And did we even hit the tables that night? I think we bought in for a crafts game together. So this was like, all right, we practiced upstairs. We bought in, not much. We bought in like 50 apiece, I think.
We didn't go right after dinner. We went back up to the room and practiced a little bit.
Ah, yes, we did. We got our nice buzz. We ate a little.
We walked around a little bit more, played some more slots.
Little stroll.
Got to pull the lever, no look.
Yes, we had some fun. Even though you didn't win, you did.
I mean, we won like a couple bucks here and there.
Did you enjoy the tag team slot play?
Yeah, of course. That was fun.
I feel like as you're a non-casino enthusiast, at the time, we'll see about now. At the time, you were definitely a non-casino enthusiast. Now, have you done tag team slot play like that before?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
So I'm happy to introduce that because to me and Amanda, you know the old saying, the couple that plays together stays together, Matt. And me and my wife Amanda, we love doing that. We'll get it. We'll go. Honestly, we've sat at that same slot at the drink door and
It's a wise decision.
and harass the cocktail waitresses for extra drinks very quickly, which is nice. So you enjoyed the tag team slot play here, and then we finally did hit the craps table, and I'm trying to think of a word to describe it. I'm thinking of more of an event. Remember the Titanic?
Terrible.
Yes, it was like we got to the table and it was an iceberg hit our bankroll.
Was rough.
It was a bad table. So this is
a bad table.
This is where the gambling, I started to get a little nervous for Matt because we went to the craps table. Matt hasn't shot the dice yet. And, the dice were coming around that we each put in $50. And I'm like, all right, it was a $10 table, I believe. So nothing treacherous where we're in real bad shape. But it was one of those times where I think I turned to you when we were doing it and I said, Matt, this is worst case scenario here. I think I said that that was worst case scenario like 3 times in a row, and we lost like a C-note, lost $100, probably in like 5 minutes, not even.
I would say less, dude. We were there for like 2 minutes, man.
Horrifying train
You
wreck.
looked at me like, dude, this has never happened before. Like, this is the worst that's ever.
And honestly,
it's like you called the casino beforehand.
Matty Maloik right behind me on my shoulder, and I feel guilty because I wanted you to see what a hot craps table was like that night. And normally, if it were somebody else, I probably would have said, let's play a little more. Mm-hmm. But I didn't want to horrify you or terrorize you on the first night and scare you away from the craps table because I was a little scared there. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
There goes that. It wasn't, it was 10% of our bankroll we brought for the trip. Basically, we lost in 5 minutes, which isn't, that happens.
Yeah.
But including, the slots we lost at, you're saying, we're down maybe probably a fifth of our bankroll at this point, and really
it wasn't that bad.
The slots were a slow drain. We played some video poker at the video poker bar.
Yeah, that was fun.
We played some video blackjack. It was paying 3-2, so we played a little bit of that. That was probably the best we did all night was the video blackjack.
That's probably
Thank God for the video blackjack.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So night one, What else did we do, man? I'm trying to think. We kind of took it easy because we knew. I mean, we definitely had a lot of cocktails.
I don't think we took it easy, man. We were up pretty damn late.
Well, to me, it was taking it easy.
Taking easy gamble wise. Didn't we throw some roulette in there too? Or
we
that the
did.
next day?
Yeah, we did have a roulette spanking also.
That was in the span of the craps table.
Yeah, that was back to back.
Yeah, it was back to back
beat downs, basically.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, it was
rough.
like we walked into an alleyway, bumped into Mike Tyson, got knocked out at the craps table, crawled out of the alley, and then crawled into Conor McGregor, who kicked us in the face while we were down. That was basically the casino experience.
That's the most accurate assessment you probably could.
And then to get more depressing, so I'm hungry. I'm a late night eats guy. So Foxwoods, admittedly, they've been closed, but I had some sort of hopes and dreams, that the pizzazz was still there on a Thursday night. And I'm telling you, what was it? What time? It was late, though. It was probably like 1 something, right?
Roughly, yeah.
We're 1 something in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe Noodles is open. I'll get some bok choy. Maybe I'll get a wonton. But instead of all that, the only thing open was Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
And the line. The line was like 100 people long.
Yeah.
And so even walking into the line, Matt was like, "You're not going to wait in this, are you?" And I was like, well, I got to eat something here, so I might. But then a little overzealous security guard kind of made us say, F this place.
Yeah. There was like, I don't know, maybe it wasn't a busy night, so there wasn't a lot of traffic walking through the hallways.
No, it was pretty dead.
I mean, there were a lot of people at Dunkin' Donuts, but we were spread out. They had the little things on the ground, so we're just keeping our distance.
Relax.
We were relaxing. We weren't
People
causing
watching.
a ruckus. We weren't throwing chairs, going nuts, And this guy
in the Dunkin' line.
In the Dunkin' line. And this guy comes over. Hey guys, can you just move over a little bit, please? We got
Scooched us.
I think what he said was for like high traffic. High traffic comes through here. We're like,
Yeah, to 1 a.m, scooched us over, and like
Thursday.
literally, we're talking like 2 feet. This wasn't like, it was like, this guy's really got nothing better to do here.
Right.
Well, everyone's mask is up. He can't write us tickets for that. So he's got, like, can you move over an inch?
I think that's what made us get out of line.
Yeah, and then I was like, I'm out of here. I'm not going to stand in line. And this guy, you know what? You cost Dunkin' Donuts their what's it called? Their money they were going to get from me, or my points I would spend. And honestly, that Dunkin's a disaster anyway. At Fox was the one in the Pequot floor. I got an iced cappuccino there. I'm not kidding you. The guy didn't put the cappuccino in. He like gave me a thing of milk, and I was like, "What's this?" And he's like, "Oh, you want more cappuccino?" I was like, "Yeah, I want some cappuccino." And the guy forgot to put it in. He was like, didn't even be pretending like, "Oh, you need more." It's like, dude, this is a cup of milk you gave me. So low in the Dunkin' there. We had to eat out of the vending machine.
Yeah,
and Matt,
look,
you called that early
I called
on.
it early on. I said, dude, this is where we're going to be eating from tonight because I have a feeling that not a lot is open.
And you were right,
And
Matt.
I was right. And
Nothing was open.
How long were we at that vending machine?
We actually spent
Like 10,
we
15
probably would have got the Dunkin' Donuts before the vending machine. I mean, because I think every time we got something, we had to keep swiping the card again.
Swipe the card.
So yeah, I bought all my vending machine snacks based on net weight. So I ended up with the Cheez-Its, I believe, and the Fritos.
I've never seen someone decide their snacks based on ounces on the back.
It was a late night eats. I'm not going to sit here and get a bag of Smart Food popcorn that weighs a half an ounce. I wanted those dense Fritos before I laid down.
And you did.
I got them. We scoffed it down. I had a piece of chocolate too. I feel like
Peanut butter M&Ms, was it?
I had the peanut butter
I had
M&Ms,
Three Musketeers.
And you had the Three Musketeers.
That's pretty rough.
And that was night one, basically. We went to bed. We were probably each down $100+ We didn't go crazy gambling, but everything we touched was a total disaster, man.
Yeah.
Anything else from day one you want to add in here?
What can I think of? No, I mean,
Not really. That was it.
Nothing I can think of.
You had fun, though. So on a
I had a
scale
great
from 1 to
time,
10,
it wasn't like,
how was night one for you? I mean, and the gambling wasn't good, but casino enthusiast-wise, we did, check a lot of the boxes here.
Yep.
We strolled around. We ate. We had laughs. And I mean, I felt like we were laughing. I was laughing.
I was laughing my ass off. But the thing I was thinking of, too, is, if I had gone with by myself or another non-casino enthusiast, like, I wouldn't say my wife isn't a casino enthusiast. She likes going, but we don't know all the tricks of the trade. We don't know to sit by the door so we get a free drink.
You don't know the drink doors.
You
just follow the stalk the cocktail waitress with her trays empty.
Yeah, exactly. You'll follow her a wafer, come back. No, we didn't. I would have never known that if I didn't go with you. So that learning
couple tricks
was very valuable.
Okay, I'll take that. All right. So then we both hit the hay and got a couple Z's. So on to day two here. So this is where I think the first real misstep of the trip happened, Matt. Now, me and Matt did have a very lively discussion about the blackout shades. I like my blackout shades open a little because when I'm at the casino, as an enthusiast, Matt,
Okay.
I don't like sleeping through my time there because time is valuable. So I kind of, played hardball with Matt and had us leave the blackout curtains open a little so we could see the sun come up and, start stirring, being like, oh, maybe we should get up, get some breakfast. And that may have been a mistake on my part, Matt, because I feel like the day was good, but I feel like maybe we should have slept in a little. And then I also was really, really hot on the Prosecco that morning.
You were pushing the Prosecco.
I was insistent for whatever reason. We didn't go to bed till 2 a.m. I'm scoffing on peanut M&Ms at 2 a.m. here. And for some reason at 7:30, I was insistent on us drinking half a bottle of Prosecco apiece before we went out for our next stroll.
My head weighed about 50 pounds when you were pushing the Prosecco on me.
Yeah, no, I went a little too extreme, I feel like. So we did. We got our Starbucks drinks, our fruity drinks. We put in our Prosecco. We went down to the lounge.
Which, goddamn, if that didn't take me right out of my hangover, though.
The lounge,
The Starbucks drink.
Oh, the refresher. Yes, the berry refresher.
That kicked my hangover.
The berry refreshers are great. And you don't think of getting them at Starbucks because it's always about the foam and the squirt and the cream or whatever the hell you get in there. But their refreshers with the green tea or the black tea, whatever the hell they use, it is refreshing.
They named that accurately. That was good marketing.
All right, I'll take a check mark on that. I introduced you to the morning berry refresher over the morning, grind gasoline coffee drink. You get the refresher, get a little floral hints in there.
Stroll,
Went for our stroll. Went to the lounge. We had Foxwoods Lounge had another nice spread there. I'd say eggs, bacon, croissant. We had a good time. There was a snafu in the line, though. We're going to do. I normally wouldn't talk about having the line, but this was something incredible.
We did not have good luck with lines.
So we're in this line. There's only one guy in front of us, and there's one guy, checking your card. All right, go in, get in the freaking soup kitchen line to get your eggs. You're gonna get, because they got the people at that point. They still have the people scooping it for you, and the guy in front of us got in this conversation. It must have been at 5 or 10 minutes with the guy. And we're polite, like I was hungover. I'm like, you know what? I don't care. These guys clearly are both a little bit, screws loose here talking about the COVID shots, the Pfizer, the side effects. But then a group of Asians came in behind us. And this group of Asians, they were not timid. They were aggressive.
Let's go, dude.
And all of a sudden, from behind us, it was like, hurry up! What are you, shut up? Like, they were screaming up to the front of the line, and like, it wasn't
they
so
did
much.
Not blink, though.
Yeah, it wasn't so much they were screaming.
Blink.
It was so much the two people that were talking didn't even look back. They didn't acknowledge us standing in line, all waiting to get into this place. And they continued their conversation for like another 2 or 3 minutes.
You would have thought that they had known each other for like 20 years. No, this was a guy that was just there.
It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. They were talking about the Pfizer shot side effect or something. It was really, it was a coronavirus vaccine talk we were listening to about the different vaccines, but so get to the side of the line. We want our eggs, our bacon here.
We want eggs, bacon,
and if
grease.
You can't foreshadow that the guy that was in the vaccine conversation was ahead of us in the buffet line also. And
that's right.
This guy touched every plate. Have you ever seen a guy touch more plates? What was he doing? Literally, I was like, what is this guy even happening here? They had like I don't know if it was like a plastic plate or what the hell kind of plate it was. It might have even been like a styrofoam plate.
It was a plastic plate.
And this guy touched them all.
He knew we were watching him too. We were staring at him because we were just in shock and awe.
Well, I'm in the mask under my mask. Can you believe I'm like Donald Duck cursing at the guy under my mask over here because he touched everything.
And he stacked them all like.
It was weird, man.
Weird, yeah.
It was the weirdest thing I ever seen. But we had a nice breakfast. We had nice coffee, nice hangout. And Matt, this is where we had to make decisions. It was like, well, what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? And Matt, I gave you the opportunity to make the call, and your call was not the ponies, not back to the crab stable, not more slots. Matty Ice, we'll call you for now, or Malloy. I don't know, Matty Malloy kind of. There is a Matty Ice. Matt Ryan's Matty Ice.
Yeah,
I like Matty Malloy.
Okay,
and Matty Malloy chose to take us to the bingo. And it took us actually, thank God, there really aren't enough instructions to get you into the bingo. I got to tell you, Matt. Because we bought our ticket, and then we knew we had to get into another line to buy more stuff. I was buying tickets left and right, all sorts of things.
Thank God we got into that line, because if we didn't, we wouldn't have had as many games.
No, there was the second line you bought. Because once I saw the sign for the bonus games, I know, I've played enough times before where I know, all right, I know I got to buy it. But I think at the other times too, they had somebody coming around selling them to you
Yeah.
before COVID. So I was kind of like, I don't remember getting in the second line. I know we had to buy the little
Stamps.
dauber thing to do it, but so we ended up getting all the tickets, and thank God we had a nice retired couple, I think, behind us, because
They were
the
very
bingo was
patient.
fast paced, Matt. This was like
This was not what I was expecting
When you
at
picture
all.
bingo, you're picturing some old lady. She's knitting. She's got yarn.
There were plenty of those.
But they had but Matt, these weren't knitting.
No,
grannies.
these were
They had multiple
these were-
iPads with
they were-
electronic bingo in front of them. Some ladies had different daubers for different sheets of paper. It was unbelievable.
Those oxygen tanks were industrial size. They were there for the long haul.
It was pretty intense. So thank God we have people behind us. And while we didn't win anything, I did drink my Prosecco and went into a different zone of nausea and sickness during this bingo tournament. But Matt, overall, what was your view on a big time bingo like that? That's not your normal bingo.
I loved it. I loved every second of it. After we got over the hump of like understanding what to do and how it like moved, once we caught up with it, then it started flowing better and getting more
Fast-paced,
exciting.
yes.
You know, that one guy who was calling the bingo was freaking hilarious.
I wish we got his name. There was one bingo caller. He was so comical the way he would say B12, B12. Like he was like purposely doing it like ridiculously. And they were
G35.
and they were alternating, and the other guy had no
was flat,
sense of humor.
man.
Yeah, no. So I really appreciate that. So
Yeah.
bingo, high stakes bingo for Matt. It was medium stakes bingo, but
Medium stakes, but it was
made
fun.
you
It
think about
made
maybe
me-
I would take some money and play a high stakes bingo.
Not maybe, definitely. That's a try.
Okay, all right, okay. I'm gonna have a sip of my scotch for that one.
I just felt like we got more bang for our buck.
I created a freaking bingo player. Who would have thought? Here we go.
I'm coming to a church near you.
Yeah, right. Like, actually, though, down the street they're doing a bingo.
High stakes bingo, $5 a game.
Yeah, I got Mac hooked on gambling. Like, how do you lose all his life savings at the bingo hall? So we left bingo, and this was where I would call it. We had a relaxation period. We went back to the room, thought about things. Matt finished his bingo. I was like in another world here after the Prosecco. Not a smart move.
No.
So then we ended up coming back down. Went to the craps table again, and this was what really hurt my feelings, Matt, of all things. So we bought back in, and finally, we're having a good roll here. We hit.
Well, at that point, James and Mike had gotten there. Right?
Well, no, James hasn't arrived yet.
Oh, no, that's right.
James was on his way.
That's right.
So we went down. At this point, we're awaiting the last two horsemen of the four horsemen of the apocalypse to come. We got James and cousin Mikey. So James is on his way, and Matt's doing the little clickety clack on the phone. Where do you go? What do you do? Where are we? So we're at a craps table. We bought in together again. I was gonna roll. Matt was gonna roll, and we ended up winning. I ended up doubling up at the table.
Every time I stepped away from the table is when you won.
So Matt's texting. It's like I'm with a 15-year-old girl in junior high over here. I guess that's over junior high. Maybe 14-year-old junior high girl. Every time something good happens, I'm jumping up. He's over there clacking on the phone, texting James, who lives down the street from a casino. How did he need so many directions to find us? What garage should he park in? I'm like,
He's an enthusiast. That's why I was surprised.
I was surprised
like,
too. I was like, I don't know, whatever garage he normally would park in. We're at the Pequot Casino. Well, I don't know. I what's the name of the garage? The Pequot Garage, I guess. I don't freaking know. I just pull
clue.
in. Well, I think that's what I said. I said just go to the Pequot and it's the opening next to the valet. You go to that garage and find us. So anyway, every time Matt texted him, or every time Matt got texted and had to leave the table, I'm hitting hard sixes, slapping five. I had this nice old man in a Boston hat next to me, and we had the six, and I kept doing 33. Larry Bird, and we hit it.
Didn't he try taking like?
He did. He actually did. I worked. Oh, that's actually thanks for reminding me of that, Matt. So I worked our hard six. It was the point was
That
six.
I saw. Yeah.
I worked the hard. I put a nickel on the hard six. We hit the hard six. I made it, moved it up to a $10 hard six, and we hit another hard six. Yeah. And the guy paid me, and that old man in the hat next to me took my winnings. And I
snatched it.
I snatched it, but it wasn't his fault. It was the dealer's fault. The dealer put it like to pay him. So then I had to say, "Oh, did you pay for my hard six?" And he's like, "I thought I did." And I was like, "I think you paid that guy." And he was like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "I was wondering what the hell what he paid me for."
Yeah.
So he ended up just giving me the money for the hard six, and he made a nice joke about it.
Gave you a nice joke, gave you a nice pat on the back.
Yeah, no,
sorry. No harm, no
the
foul.
Plexiglass was down, baby. Yeah. We were having a good time, me and this, and honestly, me and Mikey get to talk about the other craps game after this. But the guy in the New York hat from the craps game was at this craps game, and that's what drew me to that table later. That was maybe
the serendipity of the whole day there was I saw the man in the Yankees hat.
Yeah.
We had to go play with him again because he was having a good time.
He was a good roller, man. That was unlike something I've ever seen before.
We had a blast. So we ended up cashing out. Matt missed some of the excitement there. Of course, maybe it was his presence at the table. We were 7-0. He walked away. I'm hitting hard sixes. I made best friends with this old guy in a Celtics hat. It's unbelievable. So Matty shows up, and at this point, or not Matty, James shows up, and at this point, Matt, I must have got something in my eye. My eye started swelling up a little bit. I was concerned I was having some sort of health ailment.
Allergic reaction to something.
I didn't know what was, and it didn't swell up that much. It swelled just subtly, so it felt weird. Like I couldn't see right. Like I was like, what is this? Bell's palsy? Am I having a stroke? What's going on here? So we ended up just going to get some nachos and stuff, working it out. So we ended up going to the Scorpion Bar. We got the happy hour there. Taquitos, nachos. What else did we get?
Truffle buffalo wings.
Truffle buffalo wings.
Man.
Which I gotta say were unbelievable.
Yep. Not just that. We ordered the wings. Then the bartender was like, "No, you got to do the tenders. You
Do
get
the
more
boneless.
meat and do the boneless tenders."
He said, for bang for your buck, boneless, truffle buff.
She was very adamant about it.
I
So
honestly,
we're like,
I wished
whatever.
we got 2 of the truffle buffs.
Yeah,
It's-
they were
you
that
could have.
good.
I could have got rid of the taquitos easy. We could have got rid of them. Honestly, overall, the truffle buff was the best part about that.
Yeah, the
I
taquitos
would.
kinda
It was
sucked.
like an $8 special. I don't know if I would go back. I would probably say, let's go to Guys Get the Garbage Can Nachos and just do it up with the nachos.
Yeah.
That would be my nacho recommendation. The happy hour nachos. Yeah, they were like, and I ended up having there was like a big fat hidden jalapeno in there that like really did a number on me too. I was like, my eyes swelling, my mouth burning. I thought we were gonna need a stretcher to get me out of there.
Get this guy a cup of milk.
So we end up heading back. So cousin Mikey is finally on his way here, Matt. So Mikey shows up on time. I ridiculed him. I said he's never going to be here on time. He was there exactly, like on the button. It was like 7, 8. He said he was going to be there like 7 at 6:45. There's Mikey at the elevator waving with his bag at 6:45. So me and Mikey actually go into this. So we don't have to go too deep into it. Mikey came there. Matt, now, what were your impressions of Mikey? He had like 6:45 to 11 p.m. to stay, play, wine and dine, and I just want to know your thoughts on how Mikey attacked the casino trip.
Well, at first when you were telling me like he has to get up and go to work the next day for 11, so he's got to get up for 6 or whatever, iron his clothes, get ready, drive down to wherever it is. I don't know where he works, but I was like, I feel kind of bad. Like he drove all this way. He's got like 3 hours really. And man, let me tell you, this guy had the time of his life. He had the best 3 hours anybody could ever have for a casino trip.
He's an enthusiast.
He's an enthusiast.
He knew what to do.
He had my trip.
That's what I wanted you to. He came up with his bag after work. What did he do? He went up to the room, like freshened up, ripped the shot.
A couple
he
shots.
was like, "Who's Maker Mark?" I was like, ripped the Maker's Mark. We hit the floor, and my first thing we did was we ate though. We did go to Burke. So we did. We had breakfast that morning. We had the Scorpion Bar, and then we had to do Burke. Now, at this point, we were borderline on the Burke, because I was kind of like...
No, not we. Not we.
What?
You were borderline.
I wasn't borderline on Burke. I'm the Burke guy.
Burke's, wontons. I don't know what to do. I was like, dude, if we don't go to Burke's, you've been talking about Burke's for like 3 years.
We had to go to Burke. We had to go to Burke's. We had to. So we went down to Dave Burke, and we're not going to talk too much about the meal, because all 3 of us, me, Mikey, and James, all got the short rib with a little bit of it wasn't a risotto with it.
No, it was cavatelli.
The cavatelli. Me and Mike talk about it. We're getting deep into the cavatelli talk.
Oh, nice.
So Matt, but one thing I got to do, and I don't mean to criticize you.
Go ahead.
Your meal selection to me
didn't
scream Dave Burke. And I think I even made a comment like, it's like we're at a wedding together now. Because you went with the prime rib. Now, what out of all those luscious, luxurious steaks, all the salacious seafood dishes, you went with the prime rib that came with the biggest baked potato. This baked potato was like a football almost. Like it really was like a little mini Nerf football, this baked potato.
If you ever just want a baked potato, if you're just walking around and you happen to be in the casino of Foxwoods, you just, man, I really want a baked potato.
Go to Burke. That was the biggest potato.
That would have served a family of 6.
It was huge. I mean, it was bigger than like a big pint beer can. It was bigger than that.
It was a football size.
It was like a football.
You weren't kidding.
So so we're all having these luxurious dishes. Matt's eating a big loaf of football.
You want to know why?
What made you go prime rib? I was trying to get him to get the sizzling bacon on the clothesline. He didn't want the bacon clothesline. Nobody wanted a seafood tower. He wanted the prime rib at the wedding.
At that point, all 3 of you ordered the short rib. We couldn't all just
You
order
could have done it. You
rib.
could have.
And it wasn't like, oh my God, twist my arm. I'm not going to order the short rib because all 3 of you got it. I love me some prime rib. The prime rib was fantastic.
It was. You looked like you didn't leave any prime rib.
I did not leave.
You left a little potato.
I left a lot of potato. That was way too much.
So you had some nice prime rib, and what did it? I mean, did you like the Burke? Is the question.
That was the best prime rib I've ever had.
Okay, all right. Woo! We're making a casino enthusiast here. Bingo, Matt, prime rib. You know what? If you want to go to the casino and play bingo and eat prime rib, Matt, that works for me. I don't discriminate.
Your guy.
So then we finally we left Burke and we hit back to the casino floor here. Matt, this is the part that made my trip but broke my heart. So we're walking around. Do we want to play? We got 4 of us now, and Matt and James, they're both like, I don't want to say non-craps players, but they're not really craps players. Neither of them have even thrown the dice. So at this point, Matt still hasn't thrown the dice. And then, so I'm walking around $15 tables. I see a $10 table open with like 2 or 3 spots at it. So Mikey goes to hit the can or something. He had to go take a squeege there. Went into the high limit. But then I'm like, we got to get to this table. So I'm like, Matt, can one of you stand there and be the point person for Mikey? Yeah. Somebody come with me and get these crap spots, because not only were these 2 spots open, my guy with the Yankees hat was there.
Yep.
And I took it as an omen. So we went there. Mikey came in. Matt, I turned around to you with my mask on, and I said, Matt, I'm not going to buy him for both of us. I'm just going to buy him for myself this time, because I just don't want to sit here and lose your money again. And you can barely, it was getting crowded. He couldn't see the table, which at the time I thought I was being nice and generous and going to make Matt have a better time. But Matt, you finally did get to see a hot craps table.
Yep.
Admittedly, you weren't involved, but you did get to stand in the first row there and watch. And what were your initial thoughts? Now, obviously, you didn't get to throw the chips in the air like me and Mikey did, but what was your feel and vibe, how you expected the craps table to be, and how the reception was for good old cousin Vito there?
I honestly thought we were going to be there for like 2 minutes, just from
our last massacre.
Yeah, our last massacre. I was like, oh, there's no way. We just ate like 3 pounds of steak, prime rib, short rib.
Well, not all of us had a big baked potato, Matt.
Yeah. So I wasn't expecting us to stay there long. So James and I were like, all right, let's go get a drink. We'll be back. They'll be done. We'll go walk around, do the stroll, if you will.
No, the stroll.
We were going to do a casino stroll. So we stand in line at what probably was the slowest bartender I've ever been.
Is that where you guys went? We were in the middle of the game there, but because I know Matt wanted to play Ultimate Texas Hold'em. I figured maybe they went and sat down somewhere.
No, we were waiting. We went to that little setup bar, like in the middle.
Oh, you went to the one, like the little.
Yeah, it was right there.
Little beer stand or whatever.
Little beer stand, simple drinks. So we get there, and there's maybe 5 or 6 people in line. And I'm telling you, it took 20 minutes.
What were they getting? Mixed drinks then?
Not really. Some were getting beers, like draft beers.
You know what, though? Mikey got a beer from there. And we did gloss over. We walked to the Fox Tower. It was total tumbleweeds were rolling by when we got there. But
there was probably like 4 people in front of us,
and it took forever. But maybe the credit card payments.
They were all credit card payments.
That's part of the issue.
But when I got up there and did the credit card payment, it was quick. It was we were in and out in 2 seconds. But anyways, so we're in that line for like 20 minutes, and we come back, and then when we come back, everybody's jumping for joy at the table. It's cousin Vinny, make it happen. Like,
he could not get my name.
It's like this guy knew him for like 20 years or something like that. And we were like, what the hell just happened?
He was hugging me. We were hugging,
high fives. There was no such thing as COVID. COVID ceased to exist at the craps table.
Side note, there was a media blitz from Fox that at midnight that Friday, the masks were no longer mandatory, so the place was abuzz. With people like, midnight.
It was like New Year's Eve. Yeah.
And literally, that's pretty much what happened, I felt like. At midnight happened, people were shooting them like, like little party streamers, like shoot the thong in the air. It was like unbelievable.
So, yeah, we get back there, and that's when you have Or was it you?
It was Mikey had a good
Mikey?
role. Well, Mikey was
had
great
some
too
good-
because Mikey, we call him Mikey Nines, and of course he hit the 9 off the rip. It was great. But you came when I was throwing all those 11s.
Yeah, you threw like what 5 or 6 11s.
5 or 6 11s. Everyone was betting the horn, betting yos. Then I was hitting 12s, hitting aces, hitting 7s. We're winning the pass line.
The guy on the other end of the table probably won like $2,000 because of you or something like that.
And normally, Matt, don't learn because a guy who bets like that usually loses $2,000.
True.
It just so happens cousin Vinny made it happen and hit all those 11s in a row because everybody that was playing all those bets. It was really like you needed to be like Albert Einstein to pay out these people.
Yep.
Who's got the world? Who's got CNA? Who's got this? Who's doubling up? Who's going to press the
algorithms?
bet?
You needed like
that's what I said to the guy.
Zuckerberg there to figure it out.
That's what I said to him because I was like, I think this, and I was like, what am I telling you? What you owe me? You just did all these freaking algorithms for this guy over here. Pay me whatever you think.
It probably took between rolls, I would say a good 5 minutes.
Every
figuring
11.
out all the bets.
It literally was like 20 minutes of just me rolling along.
Yeah.
So, as much as it pains me you weren't involved, Matt, I am happy that you got to see, why I play, why we play, what we look forward to.
Exactly. And then once you finally hit the unlucky number.
Well, you could say it here. You could say 7 now. That's one thing I did. I see it. He's got a good trainer, folks. You listen out there in the world. I told him, don't you ever dare say that freaking number. You're dead to me.
He's never like that serious. I've never seen him that serious in my life. And he's like, he looked me in the eye and said, do not say the unlucky number. And I was like, what's the unlucky number? He's like, don't worry. You'll know once it hits. I said, okay.
And you learned.
Figure it out. The unlucky number.
And
never say it.
You don't want to say it because you know what? Even though it's not true, the dice are independent of what you say. There is nothing to it. It does feel like sometimes when you blurt it out, the bad number comes up, and whether it's not true, it's just like, you're at a blackjack table, someone gets mad, you take a hit, whatever.
Yeah.
They will look at you and say, this SOB said the bad number. Yeah. That's why it came out, because that guy.
Right.
And we had the masks on, so we couldn't really yell, but the plexiglass was down. So
that was tough. The masks was tough.
It was getting hot. It's good the masks are coming to an end so far, because I got to tell you, that was the first time that I was like, I got to get this freaking thing off me. Yeah. Like I've never been to the point where I was like, I want to rip this off my face. But
it was tough, especially to learn when you're trying to teach me how to, on the floor how to do it.
That's basically how it was. You're like, what? And then it was just like, forget it.
And they're throwing out freaking algorithms over there. That's why I don't know how they did it.
That was the other problem we were playing together. I taught Matt basically the pass line, to place a number or two. But once I got there, I couldn't help myself. I was throwing out hard ways, did two-way yos. We were having a good. I mean, our dealers were having a good. We were all having a good time together. But
I've learned the basics of craps.
You got the basics. Right. So you finally saw a good craps game, and then Mikey went up. Mikey had a second meal we do talk about. He had his little Chinese feast by himself, and we went on a walk too. We went back to the Fox Tower side because 50 Cent was supposed to be there. So I figured part of the casino experience is the people watching.
Yep.
And there was going to be a show
the
night the masks are coming off at the 50 Cent show at the Shrine. We knew it was going to be fun. So we went. It was all right over there.
Yeah, it wasn't crazy.
Not too crazy. It's still coming out of the pandemic, I guess. I was expecting, somebody to come swinging by in the chandelier.
Yeah, no. There was
none of that. But again, so we go to play.
That's what we were there for.
Tag team slot play.
Yeah.
I say, James, you want to play? Oh, yeah, I'm in. Matt, you want to play? No, I'm good. I'm done gambling. And guess what happens? Me and Matt were hitting bonus rounds like it was nobody's business. We had a bonus. Or James. James. I keep calling him Matt, too.
Me, I didn't win
anything. 2 Matts. Yeah, Matt, you won nothing.
I won nothing.
Matt sat there and sipped on a Shirley Temple, I think, at the end of the night. Me and James, I'm about to puke from all the, who knows what I drank. I was having beers. I was going wild again. But we hit bonus round after bonus round. I mean, we each put in $20. Me and James worked it up to 120, and then we ended up down to 80, and we went to bed.
That's when James perked up a little bit.
That's when James started perking up a little. Yeah, James. I was expecting James, and we need to get him we need to get him an espresso maybe or something. We needed an espresso,
a refresher maybe.
Yeah, no, because I was going down. I thought I had the Bell's palsy going. I had all sorts of issues. I was hoping James was going to bring us up, but James was kind of like Mr. Mellow, Mr. Cool, and I was like,
that's James.
Took us down. Yeah, no, cool. James was very level,
calm, collective.
But once again, Matt, that's why I start to think maybe you were just unlucky because. Me and Matt, we had a bonus round, 1, 2, 3 different bonus rounds.
James.
Me and James, in the matter of like 40 minutes, maybe we played.
Yeah,
we tripled up, and then we quit at doubled up, And Matt just sat there and sipped a Shirley Temple.
That wasn't a Shirley Temple. I was drinking whiskey. Come on.
It might have been a whiskey. I don't remember at that point. But I do remember being like, this poor guy. Anytime his money was with my money, we lost. We both got crushed. And anytime he was standing there watching me gamble, I won. Like we might have to go, Matt, and you just don't even buy
bring
it.
me with
I might
me.
just have you hang out with me. Don't even worry.
Yeah.
You'll be a casino enthusiast, but you just don't gamble.
That's it.
You just,
I guess I'm a good luck charm.
Yeah, you got a Macallan and Pepsi.
Pepsi, refresher, Prosecco,
So we wrap it up. And side note, we get into we'll get deeper into this when Mikey's on here, but me and Mikey had to share the same bed in a king bed. But we woke up, Mikey got up, ironed all his clothes. We had a good time. We chatted it up. So then me and Matt left. We got a nice breakfast on the way home. What did I get? I got a nice everything bagel. What did I get? I got a good sandwich.
That's right.
We stopped at a nice Matt was against. He did. I just want to go home. I don't want to stop. But part of the casino trip, part of the enthusiasm is we got out of there. We were both up. We really didn't. Matt, what did we lose? You didn't. I left up because of that craps game, but you only lost like $100-something bucks, and that includes tips.
Yeah.
So really,
all in all, I probably spent like $200.
$200, including a prime rib and a football size potato.
Yeah.
And we stopped. We got a nice egg sandwich and coffee on the way home.
Yeah.
And
what was the name of that place?
I forget. I don't even remember. But we stopped at a nice place. I got a nice. I had a jalapeno cheddar bagel as well. Yeah, it was good. Little sausage, egg, and cheese in the jalapeno cheddar.
Good, different flavors for coffee. I never.
Yeah. What I got? I think I got a truffle coffee because I was so hyped up on the truffle buffalo. I even though it's a totally different flavor, but I was like truffle. I love the truffle buffalo. Let me get a truffle coffee. So
like a nice tender on the rim.
Yeah, like a little chicken tender there. So it worked out pretty good. And Matt, but now we're at the end of this.
Here we are.
We made it all the way through. We had some ups and downs. We had some laughs. We cried. I thought I was ill. Then I wasn't ill. I had the hottest craps roll. One of my hottest craps rolls in my life. You got to see all sorts of stuff. We got the people watch. There was all sorts of, beautiful people there, I got to say, though, too.
They were out.
Yeah, it would definitely, people watching was not a chore at the Foxwoods on the Thursday and Friday night. Let's put it that way. So, Matt.
Yes.
Cousin Vito calls you and I say, Matt, I got a room Friday night. I got to go up. You want to come? I got 2 queen beds. Now, I've asked you probably for a good part of 5 years to come up to the casino with me, and you have always said no. I don't think one time you've ever said yes. Even this time, I had to lie to you and say I was going to play golf with you or do a 5K or something to get you to go up with me. I lied.
You're not doing the 5K?
That was the whole stitch. That was all a surprise,
man. Oh, my God.
That was all a ploy to get you up there, to get you addicted to gambling. But now that you've been up there, now that you played the bingo, you saw the craps. And here's one other thing. You didn't roll the dice, so this isn't over yet. This isn't over yet.
We got to get back up there.
So do you feel that maybe a little bit you've moved towards, you could see why people are casino enthusiasts?
So I will say this. My view on gambling and, craps and all that hasn't changed much. Hold on.
My heart. Okay.
But my overall view of the casino has changed.
Okay.
So going there before and going on my trips, again, I was there for a concert or something, like a show.
Barry Manilow, whatever you're there for. We got Hall & Oates coming up.
That's going to be a good time. But going with someone like you who knows the tricks of the trade, where to go,
how to stalk the beverage lady,
how to get drinks, how to, the best places to go, when you stay, when you go. What was that thing that guy said to you the first time you played craps?
Oh, easy come, easy go.
Easy come, easy go.
And actually, comically, Mike said that too. We were up in the room, and Mike on his own was like, remember that first time we played, and that old guy looked at you, what did he say? You win, you lose. He got it a little bit differently, but I was like, hey, you see, it stuck with him too. Easy come, easy go. So you learned a little.
So I learned a lot. It was a lot of fun, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Am I going to go there? Am I going to go there every Thursday whenever you text me? No, that's not going to happen. I mean, it's just
and that's fine, because even me, if somebody texted me every Thursday, I might not want to go every Thursday. You got to be in the mindset.
I'm like, all right, let's go for a 5K. If I got to run, real quick.
God, with the 5K, what's with the 5K?
I want to get you out there.
Closest to 5K we'll get is if we go sit at like a high limit baccarat table. We can buy him a 5K if you want to. That's as close as I'll get, I think.
But overall, I had a great time, and I would say that I'm not going to be as quick to say no.
Okay.
To go to the casino. I could do that again. Maybe one night.
Yeah,
The 2 nights was tough.
the 2 nights was tough. The only way the 2 nights would work again would be because the bingo is the key. The bingo's in the
Bingo
morning,
was
so
key.
you could go for an afternoon bingo, but to stay the night before, play the bingo, and be able to go back to the room.
Right.
Or maybe you bring we bring the girls with us. You say, all right, the ladies go. What do you? Your wife wanted me to make you like the casino.
That's true, yeah.
I'm saying next time we bring the wives. They could go to the mall. They could go look at the Gucci bags, and then we could go. I could go lose all your money at the craps table. We could go hang at the drink door, harass the cocktail waitress for free rocket crayons.
Yeah.
And then I feel like that would have also, even though James and Mike come and injected a little of excitement there was a lull. There was the lull, the post bingo until like evening lull where we were
tired.
We could have napped it. We could have actually had a planned, hour nap in there if we wanted to.
Yeah, but it's good that we didn't.
Yeah. Well, plus I had so much coffee too.
Yeah, I felt like that would have had the reverse effect.
It would have knocked us out.
It would have knocked us out.
One thing I will say, one thing I would have changed, and I would have shut the blackout blinds a little more for you, Matt. And I would have let us sleep in a little more. And when we woke up, I wouldn't have popped the champagne immediately.
Yeah.
I probably should have waited till after bingo. If we didn't have it, we got back from bingo. We were hydrated.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, all right, let's have a cocktail to loosen us up again. Where at that point, I think I had an ibuprofen when I got back to the room because I had a hangover and then I drank it away. And then the hangover was like, what do you think? You're just going to have some champagne and get rid of me, buddy?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you you're going to think you're having Bell's palsy with your eyes swelling up, which that went away, but it swelled up ever so slightly. So I looked in the mirror.
You look at me like, how's my eye look? I was like, oh, dude, is there an urgent care in the casino?
Yeah, and you were like, it
oh
looks
my
fine.
God.
I'm like, something's not right. So, all right. So on a scale from 1 to 10, Matt, when you were going there, it seemed like you thought maybe you'd have a 5 of a time.
Right.
And that's the way you reacted every time I've asked you for the past 5 years.
I would say so, yeah.
But on a scale from 1 to 10, how much of a time did you have?
You increased it 3 points. So we're going to an 8.
An 8 out of 10? Okay. I'll take it. 8 out of 10.
Catches. I'm going with you, though.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, I can see
can't,
that.
Like one trip, I can't. That was a lot of information for one trip. Easy come, easy go. Don't say the unlucky number.
Drink door.
The general rules of craps, that I took all that.
Well, even at the roulette table, we bought it at the roulette. You kept trying to take my chips.
Yeah, I didn't know.
And then they were like, you guys both can't bet the same color.
That's
and
a
like,
little
you were
intimidating.
And I was like, dude,
are you kidding me? We're at the table.
You got to
Who
either
cares?
trade them in or put money in. You can't. These are my chips. You can't touch my chips.
It's like 1 p.m. Relax, lady.
So we had some fun. All right, Matt. So I don't know if I created a casino, but I created somebody who would probably go back to the casino with me again. And if I had a room on a Friday and said, hey, you and your lovely wife want to come with me and my lovely wife, we'll go get some Dave Burke. Then the ladies can go play some slots. We'll run around like wild animals.
That's right.
You might actually say yes this time after saying no to me probably about 50 times in my life.
Definitely. I definitely say yes again.
So we'll take the victory. All right, Matt. This actually ran a little bit long. I might have to turn this into a 2-part episode.
How long are you?
We're at about like 55. We're almost at an hour, baby. And me and Mikey went like 40. So whoo-wee. We're in the middle of part 2 right now, I think. But I want to thank you for coming back to Make Luck Happen Studios, Matt. And next time we go, we're going to have to do another trip report. Next time we have to go because you got to roll the dice. The fact you didn't roll the dice. I was tossing and turning when I got home. I was like, Amanda, he didn't even roll the dice. She was like, oh, he didn't roll it. I'm like, I know it didn't work out. He was a little bit nervous. But when we were at that $5 table, I should have forced you. It was like a kid.
Yeah.
They don't want to get into the water. They don't want to do it. I should have said, just do it. Just take the dice and do it. Because, Matt, you saw those 11s I rolled? You're not going to believe this. It takes no skill. You're not going to believe this.
It looked like it did, though.
It felt like it did.
That one dude, Cousin Vinny, make it happen. What was he doing? It was like he was like inspecting the dice. He put it on the table.
Yeah.
He was like
He was
around
comical.
and he like grabbed it a certain way and threw it the same way.
Yeah, he
every
was doing
single time.
you roll him over and over
Yep.
until he gets like a number he likes. Then he sets him up and he does his little.
And he hit big too, man.
He was
rolling.
that was a nice Mikey, me.
Yeah.
Then that other guy was kind of. Oh my God, we and Mikey talked about that guy, but this guy, his wife and brother kept coming up to him, borrowing money from him. He was cursing. It was like you felt bad for this guy. Every time he won something, somebody from his family came and borrowed money from him.
Every 2 minutes, his brother came over and was just like, come on. Another one. Another $50. Come on, come on.
In that guy's defense, his brother left our table to go play at a different table and kept losing. So everything that poor guy was winning with us, he kept having to give back to the other guy who left. So
his wife was in his ear the whole time, too.
So good people watching, though. You got to say that, too.
Yeah, it was great.
All right, Matt. Well, I'll let you go. Your lovely wife is downstairs playing with my little sonny boy.
That's it.
My lovely wife is downstairs. It's actually her birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, man.
Yes. So we were supposed to, I had the room booked
here
for
we
tonight.
are. Yeah.
Here we are. So, Matt, great having you. Next time you come back on the show, it'll be your next trip, and hopefully we can do a trip report where you actually throw the dice and you don't act like a little ninny out there and refuse. He refused me.
I hope that, too. Maybe I won't be busy, you know.
All right. Well, we're going to toss it back to me and Mikey right about now. Woo-hoo-hoo-wee! We are back at Make Luck Happen Studios. Mikey's still here. And Mike, Matt seemed like he had a good time. We're recording this before I actually recorded this interview with Matt, which is unusual. So you didn't get to hear his full trip report, but we're hoping he had a good time, I think. He seemed like he was smiling, right?
Yeah, it seemed like he had a good time. It sounded like you guys had more fun the night before that I came into the bingo in the morning.
We had some fun.
But when I got there, I could tell everyone was kind of a little hungover.
Yeah,
not feeling right.
No, well, I before we jump into your trip report, I had my eyelid was swelled up a tiny bit, and I was like, "What's going on?" I felt like something wrong. I was like, "My eye feels weird." So I'm walking around like I'm thinking like I'm having some sort of health scare or something here. I'm like, "What's going on in my eye?" I must have touched my eye. I don't know if I got dust in it, so I had a little bit of an eye swell going on. And then with the mask, all you see is my one swollen eye. It was like I was like the Hunchback of Notre Dame, limping around the casino there for a little bit.
That was another ironic thing is that we were there the last day of masks. So
midnight. Mask came off at midnight, so it was a very wonderful trip. But Mike, I think we're going to jump right into your trip report. Mike, he worked on Friday. We had the room. He cruised up. We actually had a second free room that we didn't go into till Mike arrived. So that's going to be part of our fun here. Mike, are you ready for first time, long time cousin Mikey Foxwood's trip report?
Yeah, yeah.
Trip reports. Yeah.
All right, so we are neck deep in the trip report here. So, Mikey, we're going to set the stage. I went up to Foxwoods Thursday. Everyone already heard this in our previous interview with Matt here, but it was 6:45. Mikey was coming up, and before you got there, Mike, I got to tell you, I was telling everyone, we'll see if he's here at 6:45. I don't know, because we were going to make their dinner res, and I was like, let's not make it. Let's wait till we see Mike on premises before we make it. There's no sense making it 7:15. Maybe something happens. I doubt it's going to be 6:45, but Mike, you proved me dead wrong. At 6:44, I get the text, and I see you by the elevators 1 minute freaking early, so I ate my words immediately.
Well, So I mapped out my trip, and when I went to work on Friday, obviously I packed my bag and had everything ready to go so I could leave straight from work. My work is actually an hour and a half from the casino, so I just once I plugged it into the GPS, I texted you and said 6:45. So
I don't trust those confounded computers. I don't believe it.
But no, smooth trip up, you know. And
not bad for a Friday on 95, I guess.
Yeah, not bad. No traffic, so.
So Mikey, he shot right up there. First thing we did, Mikey's got his bag, his stuff. He's got work the next day. So this guy, Mike's coming up just for a quick pop at the casino here. So we go up, we hang out. Mike, first thing we do, like always, we went to the room. I think you had a little bit of the Makers, Mark, we had in there too, a little sippy dip.
Quick shot of Makers, and there were only hard seltzers up there, so I had
by that time we were all chugging Trulies or whatever the hell we had going on up there.
I can't drink too many of those or my agita gets to me.
Oh,
so.
yeah. No, I had a little agita going. I woke up in the middle of the night thirsty, and all I had was a sparkling water like a real snob. And I chugged it, and then I had a agita the whole morning. So, but we'll move past that. So, Mikey, you came up to the room. Then we said, all right, Mike, we got to go get you in your room. Because we had an extra room, and we had an extra guest too. One of Matt's friends, and one of my friends also, our pal James, he lives right by Foxwoods. He came up, he was borderline if he was staying, he didn't know. But then he had his bag, he had his stuff, so he was like, all right, dude, just stay. There's no sense, you brought all your stuff here. What are you going to do, drive home now? So we figured, all right, me and Matt were in the room together. I figured Mikey's not going to want to use Matt's used bed. Mikey likes his fresh sheets. So I knew Mike he was going to go that. So I said, all right. Yeah. And at the time, James was borderline. He wouldn't commit. So I said, all right, well, we'll set them up in the fresh room, whatever. So we went down to the room. And first thing that happens, open the door. What happened there, Mike?
There's a king-size bed.
Just one king bed.
So
So unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess it worked out because I had a nice night's sleep. Mikey, you didn't get a chance to room with James because James took my old bed, and me and you, like old times, going to like an old Grateful Dead concert, we're splitting a bed.
Yeah, well, I kind of insisted on that too. I didn't really know James. I was fine with, if I had to stay in the room, two queens. But, when I saw the king, I said, Vito, that you're bunking up, man.
You didn't want to feel his toes caressing your calf in the middle of the night.
No.
Well, you lucked out anyway because Matty said he had a little snort thing going on up there. And then that was the other thing. He was like, well, sometimes I snore. And he brought the nasal strips. And I was like,
I was worried about that.
Yeah, no, right when they mentioned that, I was like, oof, this might be a little too much for Mikey. I don't. He can't. Not only is he sleeping with a stranger, he's gonna have the buzzsaw grinding in the middle of the night.
My wife said one of the reasons she married me is because I don't snore. So,
so he has definitely high expectations on the snoring. So,
yeah.
So it turns out Mikey came up Friday night, and we ended up splitting a king bed. I think even when I crawled into bed too, you popped up, and we're like, "What's going on?" Like quick, because I went in a little bit later, and I said, "It's just me, honey, just crawling into bed."
I don't even remember that.
You were delirious.
Asleep. Oh,
you looked delirious. You looked horrified at first, and I was like, "It's just me, honey."
Really? I can't. I don't remember that.
Yeah, no. Oh, well, all right. Well, I had a good. I laughed good at that joke I made because the comforters tucked in so well. You know what I mean? I had like you were trying to sleep. Yeah. I was tiptoeing around, took my shower. That's good you didn't hear me because I was watching YouTube in the bathroom, hanging out after I came up there because I forgot my headphones. So I was like, I can't just lay in bed with YouTube on with this poor guy. Yeah. So I woke you up when I was tearing the comforter out from underneath the thing. You must have thought there was somebody in the room taking your covers from you.
Yeah. No, I did my usual. I woke up at about 3:30 in the morning and started thinking about work.
Perfect. Yeah. No, we had a nice conversation while you were ironing. So, but before all that, before I slithered into bed with Mikey here, we went down, and as usual. Mikey was coming up, and me and Matt didn't know what to eat. And I said, well, obviously, when Mikey gets here, we're going to have a good dinner. We're going to eat somewhere nice. We're not going to, the Regina Pizza
to go to
here.
Fuddruckers.
Yeah, no, we're not going, even though Fuddruckers was closed with COVID still. But,
oh, is it?
Yeah, Fuddruckers, you got to do your own pickles, all your own toppings, so they don't want people sneezing and breathing over it. They were probably one of the first things that were like, our business model's screwed here.
For the record, I do like Fuddruckers.
Yeah.
I just, if I'm coming up for one meal only, I want something nice.
Yeah, you're not slopping down a hamburger.
Yeah.
You're going a little nice in that. So, of course, where do we go? The class of the Foxwoods Resort Casino, in my opinion, the top restaurant open right now. Dave, Burke, Prime, Mike, down to Burke. We had a Ford top down there. We made the reservation. Actually, James did it on his phone, open table. We're old fashioned. I feel like I'm hip with technology. We make the podcast and stuff, but I'm definitely old-fashioned. The fact he did it on his phone, I would have been on the hotel room phone. Hello, can I have a reservation for 4? He did it on his phone. He's like, oh, yeah, 7:45 or 7:15. I was like, I don't know, whatever. He's like, doop. All right, 7:45, perfect. I was like, oh, okay. You didn't even call the lady. No, he did it on some app. So we had our reservation. We didn't really play before that. We did a little casino stroll right as we went down, but we did not play at all, I don't believe, before dinner. We said, we're going to be disciplined here.
Yeah. We went straight there.
So we went down to Burke. We had a nice shadowy table in the back. We were right by the service window. We got to see all the food come out. The bacon hanging on the clothesline, smoking by. Yeah. All the seafood towers. One time, Mike, a seafood tower went by. Mikey, it looked like you almost got whiplash turning your head around there.
It just smelled amazing. All that shellfish.
It's like when something happens and like a dog gets their attention drawn and they're like their head shoots around and you're like, oh, you heard something, you smell something. That was Mike with the seafood tower.
Yeah, I know. Luckily, we didn't have to go with that. It was either pay my mortgage or get the seafood tower.
Yeah, we went light. But Mike, you actually had a nice meal. No tableside Caesar still, which I'm hoping they do bring back because really, I almost want to get a T-shirt that says I love the tableside Caesar. But Mike, you got a regular old Caesar. How was the regular Caesar? You've had them both. Was it the exact same thing, or does the pizzazz of making it at the table make it taste a little better?
No, I mean I thought it was fantastic. They did the shaved and also grated Parmesan, which was nice.
You got to do the shaved and grated.
And it had a nice anchovy flavor to it, like I like in my Caesar. I know not a lot of people like that, but I like it nice and anchovy.
A little hint of the salt, a little hint of the fish.
Yeah.
The dressing smashed in there. So we had a great salad, and actually we didn't split the meals, but 3 out of 4 of us ended up with the braised short rib entree. Now, for those who listen to the podcast, I believe I talked about me and Amanda recently when we got the braised short rib for the prefix dinner. And It might be my new go-to, Mike, the braised short rib.
It melted, right?
Melted. You're peeling little fibers off with the fork. You don't even need the knife. You don't need the knife at all. You just put the fork, you pull off that braised short rib. A little, they had the cavadelles in there with like a nice little sauce going on, and a little mascarpone, I think, was in there too.
Yep. It was the cavadelle combo with the braised short rib was excellent.
We were discussing rating. I think we all landed on 9 out of 10, and the only ding was that I feel like I needed a bigger portion of the cavadelles. I feel like it needed to be on a sea of cavadelles. It was in like there were cavadelles. It was surrounded by cavadelles, but I felt like it had to be on a bed of cavadelles.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I know it's the casino and, they're trying to do like a nice plate presentation, but
give me a trough of the cavadelles.
But other than that, I mean, if we're just rating the short rib, I would say 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 short rib easy. 9 out of 10 overall based on the cavadelles. And we went like there. We had our popovers. Nothing better than a Dave Burke popover. No, and then they had a little green apple cotton candy they brought out complimentary when we were doing our check there. And Mike, we were in the future with the check. I think this was the first time I just Venmo'd you for the check. Normally we're splitting it. We're doing cash. But this was like Mikey just slid the card. And we Venmo'd them. It was really, we're hanging out with these younger kids, Mike. They're a couple years younger than us, and they do everything, on the phone.
Yeah, and that little thing he did where he just times it by 1.27 to get tax and tip, that was pretty handy.
That was something. So we got to give James credit there. And we've been going to restaurants for years. We never do this. We just always say, all right, throw this about for tip. He said, you know what we do? Just multiply what your food you got by 1.27. That gives you 20% tip and 7% tax, which is on the healthy side. And then you're good to go. And that's what we did. And honestly, it was like, I can't believe I went all these years without doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, even though you're not doing times 1.27 in your head anyway, you're probably breaking a calc out, but.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah.
You got to get the calc. But either way, that worked great. So we had a great meal. And you had a couple, you had a couple beers, Mike? What'd you have? A little couple Stellas.
I had a couple Stellas. So, about 4 drinks in after dinner.
Yeah. You had a Truly, a spiked seltzer, a shot of whiskey, and 2 Stellas. And then we're ready to go on the prowl here, go for a casino stroll. And it was a Friday night at Foxwoods. First of all, plexiglass was down. We probably mentioned it earlier with Matt, but no more plexiglass. Goodbye. So the craps table, again, is back like the old times where everyone's crowded, smushed in there a little bit at the table, which, honestly, this is, as much as I did enjoy the plexiglass, like you have your own space, it really was a Debbie Downer on the table because there's no vibe going on. The dealers can't hear you. It's like everyone was like, it was like business as usual. You're at like a ticket window or something where it's like, you don't have the intimacy.
No, it was a good feeling. It was nice and they kind of compensated with the limits too, because, it was hard to find a $15 table almost during COVID. And now we were finding 10, 15,
There was actually a $5 table that was open earlier in the day there by Guy Fieri's, Mike. I was able to play at a $5, which honestly, I haven't played a $5 table in so long. I do kind of miss the $5 table. It's nice that after you get creamed a little bit and you're sucking some wind, you get to just do a $5 pass line and be like, oh, let me put a $6 on these 6 instead of $12. Then you're at a $15 table, you're doing 18 on the 6. So
I know.
So Mikey had to go relieve himself quick, so he went to the bathroom in the High Rollers Lounge. Why I'm getting into this, it's because I was scoping and I saw a table and I peek over and I'm like, oh my God, it's a $10 table. And there's 2 spots next to each other open, right next to the stick guy here. So I'm feeling good. And I'm like, we got to get there. Then I say, oh my God, it's this guy in the Yankee set. There's this African-American guy in the Yankee set. We were playing together earlier in the day, having a good time,
Yeah.
He was on the far end of the table that time, but he was doing like one of these little dice rituals where he throws them against the wall until he gets a certain number, then lines them up and then launches them.
Yeah.
So we were having a blast there. So I was like, this is like so poetic. Well, go to this. It's the only $10 table I saw on the floor at this point. It was the only table with 2 spots next to each other. And it just so happens we were going to be standing right next to the guy I played with earlier that I had some fun with. So Mikey goes to the bathroom. I'm with James and Matt, and I'm like, look, can somebody stand here wait for Mike? Because I need to bring one of you with me to go try to take this table space up before somebody horns in on this perfect spot on the table. It was almost like a little serendipity that we walk out of Dave Burke and there's two $10 spots at the table. And that's right where I like to be, right next to the stick guy over there. That's one of my favorite spots. Easy to throw the dice from there, easy to get your bets in the center, which there were a lot of those. We're going to get into that here. Yeah. But overall, Mike, what was your vibe? Foxwoods Friday night, plexiglass down. You know, we had our masks on. The masks ended at midnight, but what was your vibe there? Did it feel, to me, it felt pretty close to normal. Did you feel anything different coming in on the Friday?
It felt actually more normal than, obviously, it felt during COVID. The areas were pretty busy. Like I said, for Friday night at 9 o'clock to get a $10 craps table, that was unheard of during COVID, especially on a weekend. I mean, I said this to you before. I would go to Mohegan Sun on a Saturday night during COVID, and, you know, first of all, craps was just, you couldn't even get on because they had so few tables open. And so I was playing blackjack, and on a Saturday night, you were lucky to find a $25 table. Most of them were $50 a hand. So it was almost impossible to gamble, and I'm playing slots, which I usually don't like doing, and you know, just
I'm assuming you didn't have any big slot wins over the course of the pandemic here.
No, I did good a couple times at blackjack on a few different trips, but you know, if we went on a Saturday, I really didn't play blackjack because 25. That's my max is a $25.
Yeah, and the variance is like unbelievable at blackjack. So you could go in $25 table, you could lose, you know, $200, $300 in a couple hands. I mean, not a couple hands, but quickly within 20 minutes, which you could do at the craps table too, I guess, technically.
Yeah,
but at least you get a little cheering along with it.
But no, but I'd say great vibe at the casino, and I really enjoyed the Pequot side. I think it's the best side of the casino, to be honest.
Yeah, and you know what? The addition of guys, high ceilings. I like they got the big skylight going on over there around the rails. Honestly, it felt good. It didn't feel like you know, some sort of shanty town. Like, because there was times I went there with Amanda during the pandemic with the glass and all the stuff up, and you know, you kind of felt like this feels like a post-apocalyptic Foxwoods here. You know, not a lot of people, no one could talk to each other. Where this really started to feel like. I felt like I was ready to run around, you know, swing from the chandelier again, Mike.
Yeah, no, I know. It felt like life was back in a sense to us gamblers.
It was. It really. I mean, it's not to get teary-eyed here, but it really was like the first time in a long time since before the whole thing happened that, you know, things are really getting back to normal. It was really beautiful. So we got on the table, Mike. You were right next to the stick man, and I was right next to you.
Yep.
So I think we got in right at the right time. I think we might not even have bet on any other shooter. It might have just came to you. There might have been the one guy opposite the stick man.
There was the one guy opposite the stick man. He actually did pretty good. He had I think a point, or maybe
he made a point or two. It was nice, and it was like one of those little golf clap rolls when he finished. It was like, okay,
so
good
we're already off to a good start. Really didn't lose any of our bankroll off that. You know, we were basically up after the first shooter.
Yes, which, you know, sometimes as you heard earlier in Matt's thing, doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
I showed him how to flush the money down the toilet. That's for sure.
Then the dice came to me.
And Mike, my recollection of your role was great. I feel like your first point was a 9.
Correct.
And I believe me and Mike were playing, and our buddy Matt and James, they're non-craps players. Don't know really, you know, they might know the game a little bit, but they weren't comfortable enough to buy in or play or shoot the dice or anything. So they were sitting behind us, and I turned to him and I say, a 9. That's where he got his nickname, Mikey Nines. He always hits the 9. So yeah. I was trying to play conservative, but I said, you know what? I don't know what I did. I did the $25 or $30 odds right off the rip, really letting it all hang out here with the Mikey 9s. And Mike, you hit the 9 right back, I feel like.
Yeah, it was a couple rolls, but yeah, I hit that. And then I think I hit one other number.
Yeah, no, you had hit at least a couple points, and it, you know, now it's like, you know, the rust is coming off here. I'm like, oh man, Mikey got to hit a 9. Yeah, he hit another one. It was another good one. It was like a 5 or 8.
I hit, I think, 2 come bets in between that too. So I'm feeling pretty good after my roll.
Oh yeah, I think you might actually hit like back-to-back 4s or something, because you were kind of doing the 3-point molly. I was on the 6 and 8, and I feel like you hit 2 4s like almost really close that you nailed them. Yeah, I was like, oh, the comeback. Damn, I should have did the comeback.
I know. But yeah, so I 7'd out, but you know, it was a good roll.
Another golf clap roll though.
Yeah.
All right, made a couple points, couple comebacks, you know, nothing bad. That's great. So Mike, here I get up, Mike, and this is the beginning of what might have been the greatest roll I've ever had in my life. I mean, you've been at the table a lot with me for probably about 75, 60 to 75% of all my craps games. So
I've never witnessed anything like it. I never made so much money on a pass line in my whole craps career, I guess. So I'll let you continue.
So we start out here, and I haven't exactly been attracting all sorts of gold and jewels at the craps table the past few trips. So I'm very pessimistic on any sort of positive play happening here. And I believe, first off, I think I hit a point pretty quick. Maybe it was an 8 or something. I hit a quick point, and I think I hit it the hard way, too, easy, like first. And it was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm not going to be a total loser at the table. People can at least say this guy wasn't. Because there's nothing worse, and I was trying to tell Matt, there's nothing worse than you're at the table, and you have big players, big spenders at the table, and they're putting like hundreds of dollars across and all this stuff, and then you 7 out, and you wipe out hundreds of dollars from people's bankroll in one roll, and you hear them go, oh. There's nothing, not that they are going to beat you up, but there's no worse feeling than when you're at the craps table and you were caused everyone to go, oh.
Yeah, it's the worst.
So I made the quick point, and then between that, there were a couple guys bought in, Mike. There was that one guy bought in $5,000. Then there was that other drunk guy on the corner with the lady who was betting the inside. He came in and was throwing like quarters on the horn, quarters on all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
So we're sitting here, cocktail waitress is coming. It's getting crowded now. And Mike, we're on our pass line. So, all right, 7-11 wins, 2-3-12 loses. Anything else, buckle up. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
Mike, how long till I actually established a point? It might have been 30 minutes of me rolling with no point. Yeah. I was hitting 7, and then there got a point, Mike. What did I hit? 5, 6, 7 11s in a row?
It was something crazy. I mean, I would say you rolled at least 20 times without establishing a point. And I would say 30 minutes is accurate because all the side bets people were hitting, it was taking the dealers so long to like figure out the math and pay all these things.
Unbelievable. And especially because the other side of the table, a lot of times some people will, I'll throw a horn, there's a couple guys playing. Both sides of the table, between the guy in the Yankees hat and that whole other side, Mike, they were doing, there was guys doing multiple horns, horn high yo, horn high 12, C&E, World Bet. They were doing all of them. Then at one point they're hopping numbers. I'm hitting the hops on 11 for people here, Mike.
I know.
Like literally, and so that's what was taking so long is even the guy on our side of the table. He was betting the World, betting C&E, betting horn high yos, dealer yos, hopping yo. So like I didn't even realize what I was doing at first because we got the people behind us. I'm talking to Matt saying, "Oh yeah, I hit the 11. We're going to get paid." And then I'm kind of twiddling my thumbs after the first and second 11 because we hit I made $10 on my pass line. But I'm like, all right, everyone's getting paid. But the tension's rising here because it's like, okay. Then I throw another one, yo 11, and everyone's cheering, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, all right, I got to start getting on the 11 here. So at this point, I think the guy on our side started, cheering for me a little bit, Mike.
Oh yeah, I know he was.
He saw the dice on the hat, the make luck happen hat.
A funny coincidence for me is like I was driving up and I was listening to Elvis. And I listened to Viva Las Vegas, and that line in the song where he says, "Let me shoot a 7 with every shot." And I thought about that on the ride up, and I said, what if that did happen? and so it actually made me say, you know what? Vito's hitting numbers. Let me throw a little extra on my pass line if he keeps hitting the 7. So at one point, it was a $10 table. But I had $30 just on the pass line.
I've never seen you do that. All of a sudden, Mike's pressing pass line. That's how hot I was on the come out roll. It's Mike pressed his pass line, bet up to $30. Like that's like absurd. I don't think I've ever seen you do that ever.
I was thinking about Elvis. I swear to God, I said that song. What if someone did shoot a 7 with every shot? I'd really be up some money.
Yeah, went for it with the 11 because I was looking. I was like, Mike's pressing his pass line now. Look at this. And the crazy part is it worked, Mike. So I got people. We got the guy cousin. I called him. I was cousin Vito. He kept calling me cousin Vinny though by mistake. I think. Mike.
One time he called you Uncle Vinny.
Uncle Vinny. And then he did the make luck happen. He kept saying, "Make it happen, cousin Vinny. Make it happen." Screaming. So this is before I made 1 point maybe. So this is no points here. We're talking 30 minutes of just Yo 11, everyone's slapping five, screaming, whistling, and then the poor stickman, all right, boopy doo, 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 doo. And the tough part is everyone was betting multiple bets in the middle, so somebody hits a yo, you still got the world bets, C&E. You got all these different bets that they say, okay, this guy won on here, but he lost this. He won this and lost this. Oh, you want to press this? You do that. So it was like hostage negotiations as the guy was going around. And that was just our side. The other side, every person, all six people on the other side, Mike, were making all these bets on the horn.
That's crazy. And you did hit some horns, so obviously I lost a couple times in my pass line, but it was really more 7 and 11s than horn numbers.
Sevens, 11, yeah, I'm hitting 2s, 12s, 3s, and it's no exaggeration. It had to be 20, 30 minutes, especially because of the payouts. That way, it wasn't that I rolled a boom, 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 back to back to back, but I had like 2 cocktails just before on the come out roll. That's how fast it was going, and that's how fast the drinks were flowing at Foxwoods for once. That cocktail waitress, she was coming by.
Yeah, she was good. That was nice.
So finally, after that, the epic first part of that roll, I make a point, and now you're saying, all right, can it get any better than this, really? Mike, not only was I was establishing even point numbers, I was nailing the hard ways on all of them. I hit the hard 10, the hard 6. Our buddy with the Yankees hat on, Mike, we were hugging.
I know.
He's come running over, Uncle Vinny, make it happen. We're hugging, slapping fives. It was like, it's corny to say, Mike, but it was, it could bring a tear to your eye. It was a session like that with all that shooting and all that camaraderie and the drinks flowing and the dice flying and chips coming towards the players. Yeah. That's what helped start this podcast, and that's what really brings us back to the casino together, or those nights where, maybe it's only 1 in 10 times you go these days, but you really do it because those are the fun nights where it's like things just they can't seem to go wrong.
And honestly, for me, to go there and have absolutely no stress of losing the money I came with, not even for 5 minutes did I stress, because we started with the guy who got a couple numbers. I'm up like right from the start. I never even was down. So to do that and, walk away, I walked with about $500 in about an hour and a half.
It was great. It really was insane.
Never stressing, $500 on top of my buy-in. It was incredible. So,
and the perfect timing of it was Mike was on a schedule here. He had worked the next day. He had worked that day. So Mike arrived at 6:44 on the button, actually, 1 minute early. We had our dinner reservation for 7:45. We probably were at the table. What do you think we got there like?
Well, we did that stroll down to the Fox Tower, which we ended up doing
that was one mistake. So we went to so this is, I guess, a cautionary table. We went to the Pequot floor, and the tables were all 15. They were pretty packed, and this is before we noticed that $10 table, or the $10 table was there, and it was crowded, and we didn't even walk over to see the limit, thinking, all right, it's got to be 15. So we said, you know what, let's walk to the other side, the Fox Tower side. 50 Cent was supposed to be there or something. So we were like, you know what, if they got 50 in the house, they might be opening some tables up, hoping people get out of the 50 show and lose whatever money they have left that they didn't spend in the bottle service or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But Mike, I was surprised. We got to the Fox Tower side. It was really almost like a little bit of a ghost town still. There were the craps tables. Not only were they not open, they looked like they haven't been open in years. There was no chips at all on them. There was dust. It was like we went to an old sawdust joint out in Vegas or
like
something.
An old artifact casino.
Yeah, like what is this going on here?
Usually it's hopping. I mean, for Friday, even the bar was dead. That Central in the middle there.
No, but you wouldn't have known it being at the Pequot Tower, I got to say. So
we went down at 9 o'clock, so it's not like it was 3 in the afternoon or something. You know what I mean?
I figured there'd be everyone be all dressed up in their heels, going to the dance club. That's what I was figuring was going to happen. I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be like a mob scene over here with all sorts of people going. And especially because Foxwoods put out some sort of tweet or information that masks off at midnight. So that was the buzz, as everyone was like, the masks are off at midnight. Here we go. This is it. So after Mikey went to bed, we did see the big. Everyone was ripping their mask off. It was almost like the bra burning or something. Everyone was like, it's midnight. Get them off. Forget it. And then the next morning, Mike, when I went down for a little stroll, people were playing with their masks off. It was official.
Yeah, that's nice.
So we took our casino stroll, walked over to the Fox Tower. Yeah, so that would probably, I don't know what time we got on the table. Maybe like 9 o'clock then, you think? Because we took the stroll. Then we strolled through the outlets, which was like the Oregon Trail by the time we were done with that thing. It was like crawling out
like
of the
9:30 the latest.
9:30 the latest.
Because we ate dinner at 7:45, so you figure that had to take an hour.
Oh, yeah.
So 8:45, we did the stroll.
So 9:30, we'll say.
Yeah,
Around the 9-ish hour, an early 9 o'clock hour. And Mike, I went up just as much as you, if not a little bit more, and we were off the table. It was like 10:30. We were only on the table for like an hour.
10:45, I think.
10:45. We're off the table. So Mike came up at 6:45. By 10:45, he had a high-end dinner and just made $500 on the craps table. And Mike and Mike with the bottomless pit here. Mike's like, I'm gonna go get a celebration little snack here to eat. And me, I don't know, Mike, if what's going on. What's going on with me here? I was like. And I knew he was going to eye the Golden Dragon. When you walked away, I was like, he's not making it further than that Golden Dragon.
Well, I wanted one more beer, and I had a couple scotches at the table, so I was like, I'll do one more beer, and I don't know, when I drink, my appetite goes up. So.
Oh yeah, Mikey got a little chicken broccoli. I heard.
Yeah, chicken and broccoli, white rice, and a Corona.
So, Mike, you went back up to the room. What time were you in the U.S.? Been back to the room. His goal was to be, I want to be in the room in bed by 11. I think you not only did you
11:30.
Oh, so you what'd you eat in the restaurant?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize. I thought you were going to take out. You sat.
No, I drank a beer and had sat there by myself.
Wow, look at that. I didn't realize you ate in the. So you sat down with your winnings. You got yourself one last beer, a nice fresh chicken broccoli from the Great Golden Dragon. I wanted to go because I wanted that Hong Kong style wonton soup. I've been craving it. I was talking about it and I didn't get it. So I'm hoping maybe the fact I didn't get the Hong Kong style wonton, maybe I'll get Matt to come back with me.
Yeah.
And Mike, so. You went to the room. I snuck up there, and Mike, you got out of there 5:45. You're ironing your clothes. We had a little conversation, and then you were out the door by 6:30. Gone. $500 up. 2 great meals, and you're out of there.
Yeah, driving home, cranking the music, and just saying life is great.
Not a bad trip.
Yeah.
And Mike, now you got to see a little bit of what happened to Matt, and poor Matt. We played together the whole time. And this was one of the one times I didn't buy in with them. We bought in for all the games together, but this time it was like, you know what? It's crowded. I don't want to lose this guy's money, and he doesn't know what's going on again at the craps table. So he was like, no, I'm good. I'll just watch. He really wasn't into, playing anymore anyway.
Yeah.
And he got to watch probably one of the hottest craps tables we ever been on, Mike.
I know.
I don't know how sick he was that he wasn't winning any money, but he got to actually experience a craps table, and he got to see people chanting Cousin Vinny. Make it happen.
I mean, if I was him, I'd be kicking myself a little bit. It's if you're not, I'm in it to win it, Vito. So I go with my bankroll, and I'm ready to lose it all.
That's it.
And if you don't keep fighting, then you never know what's gonna happen. So, if Matt wanted to just he brought a certain amount, but then got scared to lose it all, then that's his prerogative. But when I go, my money I got, that's could all go, and I'm gonna fight to the finish. That's how I go.
Putting it all on the line.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're going to, hopefully when I do interview him, and actually everyone who's listening to this already heard the interview because it's before our little thing here, but hopefully at least we got him to the point where he wants to go back because he looked like he got the prime rib at Burke. He looked like he enjoyed the prime rib.
Yeah, he did.
He enjoyed his prime rib. He got his baked potato, I would have got something different, but he seemed like he enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I broke his balls. I'm going to be breaking his balls in this interview, too. Everyone heard it already now, but come on. I was trying to get, I wanted to get the bacon clothesline. He was like really, really playing hardball with the bacon clothesline.
If I didn't get the Caesar salad, I would have got it with you. It was too much.
Well, I was torn because I ate, I didn't eat earlier, but I had like some apps at like 5 o'clock, because I had breakfast. I didn't eat lunch at all, and I was like, I'm feeling a little funky here. I got to get some food in my system so we could, at least I could tie one on a little bit tonight with you guys.
Yeah. Well, I was definitely the aggressive drinker that everybody else, I think, was kind of feeling the hangover a little bit. And even when we took that stroll, I was the only one that got a beer at the pop-up stand.
Yeah, no, I was borderline there hanging in.
Yeah.
I had the night before, and then I made the mistake of doing the mimosas in the morning. that set me back.
Yeah.
And I knew it.
Day drinking always screws you up.
Yeah, no. I woke up with a hangover, then I drank the hangover away. Then by like 2 p.m., I had a hangover again.
Yeah.
So we survived it. But Mike, is there anything else you want to bring up about this trip? I think I might let you go, Mike. I think Mikey's got to pick his wife up from the airport. She's flying in. She missed the best craps game I think she's had since you met her, mate.
Yeah. No, I know. And, I had to have a talk with her about the gambling, and because every time I go now, she's like, we'll split it. I said, listen, this is my fun. I need to benefit from everything I'm doing. So, we're not splitting it.
I'm
done with it. So
well, speaking of splitting it, how about this is back to the game?
I don't know why I talked about that, but that's just
no, but it's true.
piece
But
of the
that's
trip.
something because that's what happens with me and Amanda. You go and it's like, me and her play together a lot, but it's like if I go to the craps table and win a bunch of money, I don't want to be like, all right, let me give this to everyone I'm with here because I won a little bit. You want to be able to hold on, it feels like a victory when you keep the money in your pocket.
This is my fun. When her and I go together, I give her a couple $100 and I say, do what you got to do. But then if she loses that, I'm not splitting my winnings on top of that because she,
So, right, honey, you win 10 grand. Just give me the 200 back at least.
Yeah. If she wins, that's fine. That's hers. And if I want it to be like that, just keep it separate. You win, that's yours. If I win, it's mine. So.
And I don't know if you were looking into your future at the craps table. How about the guy that was to the left of me? He kept having his wife come and his brother come taking chips from him.
Yeah, he was pissed about that.
He was getting pissed. He was, and the crazy thing was, normally the bad vibes at the table always ruin everything. Yeah. But this was like comical.
I don't want to lie anymore and hide $25 chips in my pocket. No, so I'm done with it. Anyways, we went off on a whole nother topic.
Yeah, but it's pertinent because that poor guy. Then he was like my freaking brother. Oh God, he lost it again. His brother was like at this other craps table. He left the table we were on, so he left this hot table. And boy, the table was hot. I was sweating, Mike. I don't know if it was because of all the bets, but I was sweating by the end. And at one point, his brother must came and was like, give me another quarter, give me a quarter. And he was cursing when his brother left. He gave his brother an actual quarter, Mike. His brother slammed it on the ground. It's like, he's like, go, get the hell out of here. I'm done giving this guy, my freaking wife's behind me. Here's $15. Go have fun. I don't know what to tell you. I'm getting creamed over here. I was like, oh, man, this poor guy, he's at a hot craps table. We should be having the time of our lives. And he's got these vultures flying around him, every time he wins some chips, somebody walked by and was like, can I have this? Can I borrow this?
It's ridiculous.
It was like they're coming out of the woodwork.
It takes all the fun out of it. So she's understanding, and I think hopefully it'll be better. But, I had to have that talk because it's ruining the fun for me. And I told her that.
Yeah, where you're like, you're like, oh God, I'm winning again. I got to split this now. I lost $100. I just won 20 and I got to give 10 of it away.
And I don't like lying. So I'm not going to lie that I broke even and when I won like 500, I want to tell her like, look, hey, I won 500. Isn't that great? But you're not getting half.
Sorry. What happened with your money? I don't.
Yeah. So I positioned it as a habit, as a hobby, not a habit. Sorry,
I positioned it as a bad habit, as a hobby, a regular old hobby. Well, me and Amanda say, Mike, the couple that can play together stays together.
That's true.
So you're working on a little, rough around the edges sometimes. Well, she plays. What does she like? She plays the slot. She plays blackjack. She likes the Spanish.
She likes Spanish. Yeah.
Plays the Spanish. Oh, so the Spanish that could be a little wild when you're doubling down. You're splitting.
She does match every time, and she does the poker style.
Oh, mod on. So you almost need. She needs to come to you with a pin code to get the money out of your pocket after that, because that could be Spanish is fun, but Spanish can go quick.
I know. So there's a way that we do a conservative. If she's down to like $100 left, I'll play the hand, and then she just plays the match for $5 a pop. So at least she's getting a little action on the match. I keep the pile separate, so if the match...
You got all sorts of bean counting things going on there.
I
using
never
the accounting skills for this.
I never play the match, so I'm like, if you want to just do the match, and if you hit, it's yours,
Because we ain't splitting, all right? We're done splitting. She gets the match.
Oh, God.
All right, Mike. Well, I want to thank you for coming out. This was really fun going back to the casino, and hopefully we get to do some more of these trips sometimes. I got to bring you up now that I got the lounge access. I mean, it has a little cafeteria feel to it, but you do get high-end cocktails.
That's all right. Yeah, dude. Let's definitely go again soon.
Perfect. We'll have to make a trip, and Mike, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it was the hot roll. I don't know if it was the 7-Elevens in a row. I don't know if it was Matt getting to see a hot craps table. I don't know if it was you pressing your pass line bet of the $30. But I got a funny feeling that between me, you, Foxwoods Resort, no plexiglass, no mask, and all the fun that was happening there, I got a funny feeling that together we're going to make luck happen.